What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, the one and only Almighty Anon, bringing you episode 2 to my ideal Tenkaichi 4 roster. If you didn't watch the first part, I do highly suggest going back and giving that a watch, so that way you see some of the more expected characters, and a couple of the unexpected ones were thrown in there too. This video does go a lot more balls to the wall in terms of the characters I've selected. After this, I have 2 more episodes planned. The last one is kind of short, but I didn't want to make the third part a lot longer. That's why I split that one up. But without further ado, let's hop into the roster. He's the red-eyed warrior from Otherworld, the wisest undead warrior you'll ever meet. He's defeated the likes of Frieza and his father, Cell, and the Ginyu Force. He is the powerful, the potent Paikon. Following him, he's a galactic patroller who doesn't know defeat, a tactical marksman with no limits. Friends to Earth's beloved Bulma, he's the Justice, the Judgment, Jocko. Following Jocko, she's the badass youth that's traveled the universe, the reaches of her power yet to be discovered. Daughter to Son Gohan, she's the princess, the Pack-a-Punch, Pan. Keeping up with the Saiyan trend, he's the ruthless leader of the warrior elite, holder of a now destroyed throne. Third to hold his family name, he's the killer, the vicious King Vegeta. Next, she's a hesitant Saiyan from Universe 6, but don't let her skittish demeanor fool you. She has an unmatched, unbridled rage in her heart, so do your best to stay on her good side. She is Kale. Another Saiyan. She's a gang leader who's dedicated to becoming the strongest, yet also has a lazy side. She's a baddie with a Super Saiyan fatty, Caulifla. Following up, he's one of Universe 6's strongest, student under Vegeta the 4th. With a kind heart and a good nature, he is Kaba. Time to change gears with our next competitor. He's sworn to rid the multiverse of all mortals. Having trained as a Kai, he's a literal time-traveling god. Give it up for the immortal one himself, Zamasu. He has 2 base variations, Zamasu Kai and Goku Black. Our next fighter is a giant rubber bear with drip that puts Winnie the Pooh to shame. Sympathetic only to his allies, he is the bodacious, the brutal Botamo. A seemingly familiar face follows suit. He bites by the trend of evil accrosions. He's a deceitful bastard who would lie even to the gods. He's the filthy, the fighting Frost. He has 4 base variations. His first, second, third, and final form. Still keeping up with Universe 6 champions. Next on our roster is an assassin. And that's not a metaphor, folks. I'm telling you, this man has stacked bodies with his time skip ability. He's the one and only Hit. Hailing from an entirely different universe, our next competitor is a man unlike any other. Selected by Lord Belmont to be trained as a god of destruction, he's the Titaness Toppo. Another member of Universe 11's Pride Trooper races onto the scene. Though not much is known about him, he's one of the fastest beings in the multiverse. He's the devastating derailing Dispo. Shield your eyes from the brightest Pride Trooper in Universe 11. He's surviving in the name of his master and is said to be more powerful than the gods. Cower in fear, run for your lives, for now is the arrival of the one, the only, the almighty Jiren. He has two base variations, those being Kid and Adult. Coming back to Universe 7, he's a superhero with a fin, dripped the fuck out head to toe in red ribbon merch. He's calmer and more collected than his brother. He is the godly, the great Gamma 1. Naturally, he's also a hero, but with two instead of one fin. Bringing manga panels to life as he fights, he's the fun-loving brother to Gamma 1. He is Gamma 2. Next up, not much can be said about our next fighter. He's an OG servant in the Frieza Force, and a force not to be reckoned with. He is a Pool. He's a Namekian lord with the ability to grow, conqueror of many planets and evil beyond any doubt. He is the legendary Lord Slug. Not much is known about this competitor other than sharing a similar appearance to his namesake. Let's hear it, folks, for Son Goku Jr. Next up is another fighter of which little is known. He's the fifth to hold this royal name, also looking identical to his namesake. Bow before Vegeta Jr. Keeping up with the Saiyans, she's an OG Saiyan from Planet Vegeta, a trustworthy member of Bardock's team, a woman who won't be pushed down. She's the feisty, the fierce Fasha. Next up, he's a brute with brains, built like a Mack truck, float like a butterfly, and sting like a bee. He's the tenacious, triumphant Tora. Still on track with Saiyans, he's a low-class warrior with a dream, having developed his own Crusher Core in order to conquer worlds. He is the terrible Turles. Next we have a disgruntled father, a survivor whichever iteration you look at. He's followed by his son, who's the first legendary Super Saiyan. He is Paragus. Paragus has two base variations, those being Z and Super. Our next fighter is titled as the God of All, a leader who's unafraid to have as much fun as he can. Bow in his presence, Lord Zeno. Following Zeno is his trusted aide, father to all of the angels, giving off sinister energy. Hold your heads high for the Grand Minister. Next, we take a trip through time. He is Cell before Cell existed, able to absorb androids and punch the strongest Z warriors in the crotch. He is Android 13. Our next competitor is the pinnacle of Red Ribbon creations. With unmatched brains, beauty, and brawn, she is Android 21. Next, he's the leader of the Galaxy Soldiers, a ruthlessly powerful space pirate. He is the badass, the unbound Bojack. Copying Bojack with the B trend, he's a survivor of the Tuffle race, dedicated to revive his people and destroy the Saiyans, able to take control of others. He is Baby. Baby has three base variations, those being Base, Baby Uzaru, and Baby Vegeta. Coming back to Dragon Ball Super, he's a fighting prodigy of the Heater family, a quiet fighter that lets his actions speak louder than his words. He is gas. Switching over to GT, he's the 7th Shadow Dragon, intimidating his opponents with his many spikes. He is known to be selfish and unsympathetic. He is Sin Shenron. Hopping back to Z for the rest of the roster, he's a swole competitor eager to fight, long-standing rival to Hercule, stuck in Babidi's control. He's the superb, the strong Spopovich. Our last competitor for this part of the series. He's a Supreme Kai unlike any other, tied to the Destroyer God and one of the trainers of Son Gohan. He is Supreme Kaioshin Shin. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into this episode of my Tenkaichi 4 roster. If you have any thoughts or characters that you would like to see, keep in mind I do have 2 more episodes coming out, but you are more than welcome to comment them down below. I will admit I have not watched all of the original Dragon Ball series. I have not seen all the Dragon Ball Z movies. I have not seen all of Dragon Ball GT, so I could be missing some candidates for base variations for some of these characters. I'm trying to use like the Dragon Ball wiki as much as I can to figure out what I would prefer to make as base variations versus transformations, which I am still planning to explain my thoughts on how all that's going to work later on. I do also have a Dragon Ball Super theory video that I'm going to be coming out with as soon as I can get it made. I'll get that put up for you guys as well, but this should be coming out here pretty soon for you guys. I've been rushing to get this one done so that way I can be on top of it and bring that stuff out for you guys. So we recently broke 200 subscribers, and I am so thankful for all of the love and support you guys have been giving me. Thank you so, so much. So without further ado, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And on out, Aces.